I'm recording now. Okay, cool. If you're good to go, I'm good to go.
Yeah, man, I'm good to go.
Cool. Well, it's already recording, so fuck it.
All right,
Hey, welcome
let's
to
do it.
License to View, guys. Real quick, Zach, at the top of the show,
Yeah,
I want to say this.
tell me.
Uh, I had a lot of tiki drinks last night.
Ooh, okay.
So this morning, uh,
hmm
I feel it.
You take a
But
tiki shit?
I'm hungover.
Oh, okay.
But to make matters worse is that today's my barbecue day, so I drank a lot of shit last night. I woke up at
Mm-hmm.
5 in the morning, and I'm sitting here trying to trim a fucking Boston butt with a long ass knife, trying to
Yeah,
cut fat off of it. And bro, I am
that's some
fucking
bad news bears going on right
yeah,
there.
absolutely. And I'm good now. I've had some caffeine. I woke up a little
Okay.
bit. The sun's shining. So, but it was a little groggy for a couple hours, man.
Yeah.
So, hey, this is a podcast where two best friends get together and talk about pop culture, movies, comic books, anime, video games, all that jazz. But
All that good
first,
shit.
before we get to all the news of the week, which is not a ton of great stuff,
Yeah.
Zach, what you been up to, man?
So there's been a couple of things I've been up to. I've been watching a bunch. I played a couple of things. Still playing Monster Hunter World. Um, I realized that the point that I at was only like the halfway point, and so now I'm into like the real shit of the game, where it's like basically the same monsters are there, but they're all fucking powered up.
Mm-hmm.
So now I'm starting to dig through that shit, which is way fucking harder, um, which is discouraging. Just because for me, like when I play games, like if I don't get like the max rewards possible, like when I'm going through a run through, I kind of am like, well, what the fuck? Like I fucked up. If you like die in this, if you die in a run of like trying to kill a monster, you automatically have your rewards decreased. And it's like there was one time it was like I was trying to battle one of the two like big dragons that weren't like elder dragons, but it was like first of all the fucker's shell was like so tough. It's like you can barely even touch it without your fucking weapon banging off, unless you're like right underneath it. And he burrows under the ground too, so that's fucking annoying. So there was times where it's like I don't even have time to fucking heal up, and it's like he pops out of the ground and I'm fucking dead. So
Right.
that was kind of annoying. So I had to take a break from that for a little bit because Final Fantasy VII came out.
Final Fantasy VII
Uh,
came out.
it did. The remake came out, and I didn't get to start playing it Friday because I had to work. So the way my new schedule is set up, they already changed it again, which is like fucked up. But so now I'm doing early mornings Monday, Tuesday, and then to help out with the other producers because before the they had one producer doing the noon and the five, um, like Monday through Friday, which are both 1 hour long shows, which is like fucking torturous for a producer. So the way that they've set it up now to like try to get give a little bit off of them, like try to relieve them a little bit, is now that they have me doing the early mornings, Monday and Tuesday, and then Wednesday through Friday, I come in at 5 a.m. and then I booth 5:30 to 7 a.m. And then after I get out of that, I have to go work on the noon show. So I didn't get out till like 1 p.m. on Friday, and then I had to go back in Saturday morning or Saturday night at 11 p.m. to do the morning shows yesterday. So I really didn't get time to play Final Fantasy Remake Friday, which all goes into saying that I only played 3.5 hours of the game so far. Um,
Okay.
I basically have beaten the first three chapters with how much I've played, which is I haven't technically finished chapter three yet, but I know that like I got to the point where it's like I did all the side quests and I tried to finish it early, and then it's like you won't be able to do any more side quests if you go into the bar or whatever. And I was like, all right, well then I'll just do all these and then I'll go into the bar. So I decided to do all those and then not go in the bar because I was fucking tired.
Right.
Um, so pretty much when I start playing it after the podcast, which is probably what I'm gonna do, I'll have completed chapter three. So
Hold
three
on, real
chapters
quick. So,
in.
what are your days off now? They change them off. They change them again.
No, no, no. My days off are the same. So now I was already in my schedule. I was supposed to cover yesterday's morning shows just to because the changing around the schedules, they couldn't have the girls start doing the weekend morning shows until today. So
Uh,
that was like my Saturday of like covering for her so that she can go into her shift of like
because
I think hers is like Wednesday through
wasn't it like you were gonna
Saturday.
be Monday through Friday?
I'm still Monday through Friday now,
Okay,
but this
gotcha,
like this coming week will be my first week of being Monday through Friday because last week
gotcha.
I was Monday through Saturday.
Yeah.
So this coming week will be my first Monday through Friday week. So yeah, I'll only be able to play for until like 4 o'clock, and then I'll have to go back to bed to go to work tomorrow. But but
Oh, that's true.
Yeah, but I mean, it's cool. I'm just gonna play fucking Final Fantasy VII. Not like there's anything else to do during this fucking quarantine. So, but I had fun with it so far. 3.5 hours in. I talked a little bit how I tried to play the original Final Fantasy. I obviously didn't beat it, but I did play like the first. I think I got like 4 or 5 hours into that original game, and I could already tell that there's like, I mean, there's a fucking massive story differences already. Like, I mean, they're already introducing Sephiroth. It's like you do the first Bonding run, and it's like you already have like fucking flashbacks to fucking
Mm-hmm.
whatever the fuck his hometown is. I don't even remember, but you have flashbacks to that already, and there's like a whole bit where you're like already seeing Sephiroth, and he's fucking PTSD. You think he's PTSD memory, maybe, but he's like, I don't know. It's very strange. But there was already like a lot of fucking Sephiroth in what I played, which from what I've known from watching Super Eye Patch Wolf's video and watching Matt's talk about it, there's not a lot of Sephiroth. And just hearing like people talk about it in general, there's not a lot of Sephiroth
No, you
in
don't
the
even.
original like first part of the game,
I mean,
really. So
even I mean, I played the last time I played the original on the Switch. And again, I didn't finish it either because I sold my Switch. But when I was playing it, I got through the first chapter or whatever that I guess you would call it, where you get through the first part of the mission, you get to Sector 7. I played
mhm.
that, so that's pretty fresh in my mind. And you aren't walking through the town like you aren't walking off the
No, you're
train,
not.
and then like I was watching video of it, like I was telling you.
Mhm.
You don't have Sephiroth flashbacks through Fire Alley.
No, that is completely new, and I dig it a lot. I like a lot of what they're doing with Cloud. I mean, it's very clear that they're trying to change Cloud's story up a little bit. I think I don't know if they're still going to go with the whole like Zack thing. I'll be interested to see if they like keep that in there or not, of whether or not he's like a fake soldier or whatever. But I like what they're doing so far. I like the whole like PTSD thing that they're going on, that they've got going on with him, and like his flashbacks to like Sephiroth and like whatever the fuck happened there. Um, so that's really cool. And that was the thing that you said was the other big thing that I was going to touch on, which is just, especially after chapter 2, because that's when you finally get, chapter 3 is like when you're finally make it back to like the slums and you make it to seventh heaven and all that stuff. And just like going through like the slums area and just like the amount of world building that they have built in there, like dialogue trees for like every, like fully voiced like dialogue trees for like all these different characters that are in town and shit, and like what you're doing through your side quest changes like the dialogue that you hear throughout town. Like there's one side class where you end up like basically intimidating this guy to leave town because he like tried to spill the guts about Avalanche or whatever. And so after I did that side quest, I hear people like fucking like throughout town talking about, oh yeah, I heard he like fucking had to like book it and some shit. And I was like, God damn, dude, like it's fucking like comprehensive world building. I'm super impressed with it so far. The combat's great. I think we talked about this when it was like first announced, but it's like Kingdom Hearts combat. It's like a mix of like
Right.
Kingdom Hearts combat with like Final Fantasy VII combat because you've still got the ATB gauges. So it's not as free form as Kingdom Hearts is, where it's just like Kingdom Hearts is like in that command menu you can do whatever,
Right.
which I like and dislike at the same time because I like it because it forces you to plan out your actions a little more than you normally would in a Kingdom Hearts game because you know all of your reactions besides your basic attacks are centered around the ATB gauge, and so trying to figure out trying to plan ahead for your plan of attacks, especially with like guarding and making sure that you're not dying from like just not paying attention, because I had fucking cloud faint on me in like the middle of a side quest because I wasn't paying attention and a fucking giant ass rat fucking took his health down. So, but the good thing about this is that like just taking out Cloud doesn't like fucking end your game because you can control all the characters. So I was able to control Tifa and like give him a Phoenix down and like get back into the game. And so, I like that aspect to it. I'm having fun with it. I'm having a lot of fun with it so far. Yeah, I can't wait to play more. It's super fucking fun.
I don't know how I feel about, again, we've said this 1,000 times before, and I'll reiterate this time. Hold on a second.
Yeah.
That I have no like love for this game.
Yeah.
I've mentioned before that I finished it when I was a child, and I don't remember half of the shit now.
Yeah.
Anything that I remember of the game now is from YouTube videos or something like, or like no
Yeah.
random memory pockets that I have. Um, but isn't it that Zack and Cloud like get tested on, right, to be Sephiroth kind of clones?
I think from what I remember from iPatch Wolf's video, it was like Zach was tested on, I think, because I remember from his video, it was that when Zach dies in Crisis Core or whatever, Cloud like basically just like assumes his identity because he was a soldier originally, but he really wasn't like a big name soldier like fucking like Zach or
Yeah, he was
Sephiroth
like
or
just
any
a
of those
regular
people.
like gun guy.
Yeah, he was like a regular grunt, and so like when Zach dies, he takes Zach's sword and ends up becoming like the Cloud character that like everybody fucking knows, and
But I
so
swear he gets like
that's what I kind of know.
I swear he gets like Genova cells in him.
I think Sephiroth has them, and then he gets like corrupted a little bit when he like meets Genova or whatever, or something like that. I don't know. Even watching iPath Wolf's video, there was points where I was like, I don't know what the fuck are we even talking about right now. There's a bunch of fucking crazy shit in Final Fantasy VII.
And it seems like they're really trying to retroactively change the fact that they're terrorists.
Yeah, well, that was the biggest thing. Is just like even playing the first game, even playing the original, that little bit is just like the fact that like they blow up the Mako reactor and like the original is like not that big of a deal outside of like it's like what you're doing as a part of Avalanche or whatever, and it's what you're hired to do. And in this remake, it's like, well, it's not actively their fault, obviously. I mean, they fucking show that off that it's actually Shinra that's like doing it, and it's like trying to make them out to be terrorists, but like they fucking blow up the Mako reactor and it like fucking destroys the entire sector, which is like crazy to see. It's like flashbacks to like almost like Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 shit where you like see the after effects of like a fucking nuclear bomb. Like it destroys the sector like so much. It like kills a bunch of people, like buildings are fucking destroyed, like they're crumbling apart around you. There's fires popping up everywhere. It's very intense, it's like they're really trying to impress upon you like the cost of your actions or whatnot. So
For me, doing some quick Googles and looking
mm,
into Final Fantasy Wikia,
okay.
it says that Cloud and Zack are injected with Sephiroth cells to
Okay.
make them Sephiroth clones, which makes because I've seen Advent Children 1,000 times. So
I've never watched Advent
to
Children. I
me,
heard everybody who likes Final Fantasy hates that fucking movie though.
maybe you're thinking about Final Fantasy Spirits Within.
Maybe. Is that the same
Because
thing?
Spirits Within is the movie that came out first, and it had nothing to do with Final Fantasy. And
Uh,
Advent Children was like, it looks like this game to me.
yeah.
I mean, this game looks better because it's obviously however many years later. But
Yeah.
Advent Children, there's a scene where like Cloud is constantly having like PTSD of Sephiroth, and like it's
Mm.
clear that it's not just he's a guy I fought. It's something else
Hmm.
because like other characters in the movie turn into Sephiroth, which is the whole clone thing. So
Yeah.
like I'm watching that movie and I'm like I don't know what the fuck's going on because I didn't play the fucking game or I don't remember what happened in the game or the game was above my
Yeah.
head, you know.
Hmm.
So maybe that's what they're trying to do in this game by hinting at early on in the game that there's something else besides just okay, here's a bad guy, but maybe because the cells are in Cloud, he's like, oh, I'm having to fight the temptation to do whatever the fuck or something like that.
Actually, it's like thinking back to like that encounter with Sephiroth, the dialogue that happens in that scene. It makes a lot more sense if he is like a supposed Sephiroth clone or whatever. Like the fact that like what Sephiroth says to him about like running away and like he needs to run away to save himself and save this world and all that kind of stuff. It makes more sense if it's like a projection of Sephiroth like trying to save this like clone body
Right.
of him.
I mean,
So that's an interesting thing.
I never
But that'd also
played
be like
Crisis
so
Core
fucking
either.
confusing.
Well, I think what they're trying to do is make it more streamlined than the
Mm.
original game where you play the half the game thinking that this guy is some badass and you find out he's actually like
Yeah.
not.
Yeah, he's
So
not actually badass
maybe they're trying to
until you
like
make him a badass somehow because he does end up defeating Sephiroth. So
well because he has the cells, so the cells make him
yeah, that's
strong.
true. Yeah.
So okay. Well, I mean, the game itself looks fine.
Yeah. No, it looks great. It looks fantastic. I mean, it's probably one of the. Hmm. I don't know, because a lot of games look good nowadays. I think a lot of people think that the game looks so good just because you compare it to like the original. And I mean, the original's like PS1, like looks fucking great compared to that. I saw screenshots of people comparing the builds from like when it was originally announced to like where it is at now, and so I mean it's gone over a major facelift. I mean, just Cloud in general looks like so much better than when he was originally announced in like
Yeah.
2015. But yeah, it looks great. I mean, it's a fantastic looking game. Feels great to play. Um, you know, I still don't know how they're going to work on the because especially in this first part, it feels like it's not like a typical RPG where it's like once a character is in your party, the character's there and then you can switch out party members. It feels like the party structure is very fluid. There's a lot of characters like joining parties and then leaving parties and like not sticking around for like at least in these first three chapters. It's like you play only like part of the Ameko reactor with like Barrett in your fucking team, and then the rest of the time you're by yourself until you get to the slums, and then Tifa joins your party and she's there for like basically all of the side quests in chapter 3. But it seems like the party structure, at least at this point, is like very fluid, and there's a lot of like characters going in and out, and it's just not the typical RPG thing where it's like this is your party and this is who's sticking with you the whole time.
Right.
So
Oh, okay. I definitely debated buying it, but I'm still just not going to.
yeah,
I can't
I
get over
debated
the.
buying another game, but I decided to hold off because I was just going to play Final Fantasy. But I was debating buying because Persona 5 Royal also came out, and I really wanted to play that because I heard fucking great things about that. And it
What's
looks
different?
fantastic. Everything's different. All the mechanics are different. You start the way that you do dungeons. It's different. You've got a new character, which is fucking rad as shit. I don't know, dude. I just like Persona. It looks great. But I'm gonna hold off because I'm gonna play Final Fantasy first. So
Hey, that's smart. How long is the game supposed to be? Did they have you read? Have you
which one?
seen?
Final Fantasy?
Yeah,
I've heard that
12
if you do,
hours.
I've heard that if you do like all the side quests and everything, and you like complete everything that they want you to complete, it's like a 30 to 40 hour game. I heard if you just speed through the main story and like you don't do any side quests or anything like that, I've heard it's like yeah, it's like 10, 12 hours.
Okay,
So
that's rough, man.
yeah, I don't know. We'll see.
I'm
Um,
curious. I'm gonna have to Google or see when where the game ends.
I saw a little bit. I didn't watch the video, but I mean, fucking YouTube like doesn't care about my story integrity whatsoever, I guess. But you do end up having a boss battle against Sephiroth, I guess, at some point. So
You have to. The game has to end with that, right?
yeah. But then it's like, but at that point, it's like if you're facing off against him, and I guess unless he doesn't die, then but it's like where do you go for game two? Because there has
Well,
to be
I'm
game
sure there's
two.
more. I mean, again, I can't remember how many times you fight him in the first game, but I assume you fight him a couple times to build up the final battle.
Maybe.
So maybe there's just one of those encounters, and then you just oh, he gets away, or you guys, or
Yeah.
whatever, or you know, some
Maybe.
classic bullshit where like you guys are fighting, and then like in Star Wars where the fucking Earth cracks, and then they separate, and like
The
oh
entire planet
no.
breaks apart.
Yeah, even though Sephiroth's sword can probably reach across a cavern or some shit, but
Oh, you could fucking chop a whole world in half with that fucking
yeah,
bad boy.
cool. Well, what
But yeah.
else have you been checking
So
out?
that was it. I was basically playing, but I have been watching a bunch of shit too.
Okay, lay it
Besides
on me.
that, so I finished season 2 of Westworld.
Right.
Um, I like where it ended up. I haven't started season 3 yet because I started watching something else, but I really I like the character progression. I like where the characters are at the end of season 2. Um, I mean, it's clear because season 3 already started that they're not in crime world, but if anybody who like thought that, I mean, I thought that too, and it's like if you'd watch the ending of season 2, you're like, oh yeah, they're not going to crime world because they're just in the real world. Um, Alice or whatever the fuck her name, Dolores. I don't know why the fuck I said Alice. Dolores makes. You know why? Because I was fucking watching Red Letter Media's Resident Evil stories or their Resident Evil
Yeah.
watch through again. So
Yeah.
fucking Alice popped in my head, but Dolores makes it out of the park. There's a lot of cool, interesting teases to like what's going on in season 3. There's a lot of like her taking down like the real world and going through that, and character alliances and who's a robot and who's not a robot and kind of shit like that. So it's fun.
You mean Blade Runner?
Yeah, Blade Runner,
Blade
basically.
Runner.
I mean, it's like from what I saw at the end of season 2, and from like what I've heard about season 3 so far, it basically becomes like Blade Runner, where it's like, yeah, she's gonna like try to lead an uprising of fucking hosts to like take on the human
Yeah.
world.
I mean,
Fucking
it sounds like Blade Runner to me. It's
Yeah.
like it's definitely more. I mean, it's hard to complain about that because I feel like most cyberpunky things kind of are either
Most cyberpunk things with like androids with consciousness ends up becoming Blade Runner at some point.
well, I think it's two pathways. I
Yeah.
think it either well three. I guess three pathways.
Mm.
In my mind, there's three distinct cyber, and this is like
Yeah.
I mean, this all comes boils down to like Neuromancer the book, and then like Snow Crash the book. But like
Okay.
even then, obviously Android's Dream of Sheep or Electric Sheep or whatever. But
Yeah.
fucking here's my pathways in my brain how I separate cyberpunk as a genre. You have
Okay.
the Blade Runner, which is like AI, like
Right.
the machine. You have Ghost in the Shell, which is like the Ghost in the Shell,
Right.
AI Terminator type shit.
Neural network Terminator type of
Right,
shit.
and then you have like Akira, which is like the world. It's cyberpunk in the sense that it's a futuristic cyber world, but there's no like
Yeah.
actual like there's no robots. There's no.
There's
It's just
no
like
robots running around. There's no like
yeah,
rampant
it's
AI
it's
consciousness.
it's the opposite of Mad Max. It's just like Mad
Yeah.
Max becomes more archaic, and then Akira becomes more futuristic with archaic
Mm.
life around you.
Yeah.
Um,
I can
and
see that.
it's hard to deviate from those without kind of you steal so even like Altered Carbon steals so much from all those
Yeah.
concepts.
Hmm.
Um, Ghost in the Shell steals stuff from Blade Runner, with the books, which steals
Hmm.
stuff from Neuromancer, the book, which steals stuff from Snow Crash, or influence
Hmm.
stuff like Snow Crash. I mean, so it's hard to separate, but at the
Yeah.
same time, it's kind of like, I mean, well, is Westworld worth finishing? Like from so far, is it worth, or is it just Blade Runner?
I think it's different enough so far, and I like the characters. I think the biggest thing that separates it from Blade Runner for me, at least not 2049, because I actually really like the characters in 2049, but from the
Right.
original Blade Runner, is I just care about the characters in Westworld a lot more. I like the journey that they're going on. Um, and I mean, even in Blade Runner, that takes place mainly from like the human perspective, and I like that Westworld, for the most part, is like from hosts. I mean, like at the end of season one, you find out that Bernard's an android, and so
Mm-hmm.
the main crux of season two is from the perspectives of Maeve, who is an android that has main regain, who has found consciousness and also has inherited the ability to like control other hosts. So there's that like Ghost in the Shell aspect to it to her character.
Mm-hmm.
You've got Dolores, who's like the original like prodigal child android who's like trying to read the revolution, and then you've got Bernard, who is like the conflicted android who is like has feet in both worlds because he is an android, but he also is modeled after a real person, and he spent most of his life thinking that he's a real person, and so now he's got the conflicting aspects of being in the human world and wanting to protect humans, but also being an android and like knowing like what he is. And so those two worlds of his like colliding and clashing and like informing the actions that he takes. So I like that aspect more. It's much more about like the androids' perspectives and like how they're going through the world than it is about the humans, which I think is probably the biggest difference from Blade Runner for me. Because I mean, in Blade Runner, not in 2049, obviously, because then that one you're following K, so that's kind of similar. But in the original Blade Runner, you're following Deckard, and if you believe that Deckard is a human, then you're following the human perspective.
But how many times will you? This is not a knock on Westworld. This is just an actual
Yeah,
question about this. How
yeah.
many times will you watch the story about this topic in terms of like, okay, is artificial is sentience life? Is that life or is it not life? Like, how many times will we
Mm.
watch a movie or a show that is asked the same question that we saw with Blade Runner or with because the question of Ghost in the Shell isn't really necessarily about is it life or not, because the question is more about what. And here's how I look at Ghost in the Shell, which I
Hmm.
love infinitely more than I love Blade Runner.
Yeah,
To me, Blade Runner is fine. I enjoy
yeah.
it. I think it looks fucking cool. I
Hmm.
think Deckard's a cool looking character.
Hmm.
The idea of is he a replicant or not, I don't really
Hmm.
care.
Hmm.
That never mattered to me.
Yeah,
I like the idea that he was a hunter more than the idea of if he was a robot or not.
yeah.
But I like Ghost in the Shell more because it became the question to me that took from it was, okay, you have a character like the Major, who
Hmm.
is 100% synthetic. Like
Yeah.
there's nothing about her that's human except for her brain.
Right.
And you have a character like the detective, who's
Hmm.
100% human except for the calm implants in his brain. So
Yeah.
it becomes what point are you no longer human? That's the
Hmm.
question to me that I take
Right.
from Ghost in the Shell. Whereas with Blade Runner, it's is robotic life.
I would think that's the biggest jump off for Westworld season 2 for me, is because at this end of season 1, I mean, they basically answer that question because, I mean, the whole purpose of season 1 is the host gaining consciousness, and like, I mean, basically at the end of season 1, they answer the question that like, yeah, these robots are alive and they have like thoughts and feelings and like they have a consciousness and they make decisions. And so I think that the biggest thing for season 2 is like, what do you do as a robot? Like once you discover that like you have that choice and you
Mm-hmm.
do have consciousness and you are able to make your own decisions, what kind of decisions do you make, and how do you influence the world around you? Because I think that's one of the biggest points is James Marsden's character Teddy has a much more prominent role in season 2, and the way that he interacts with Dolores and like his character with her, and there's a point in there where like she basically like rewrites his programming and like turns him evil, essentially like takes away all of the things that made Teddy, like his emotional aspects to him and like his caring for others, which has been programmed into him, and she overwrites that programming, and at the
Mm-hmm.
end of the day he basically overwrites that back and decides that like he can't live as this like soulless person anymore, and he takes his own life. um,
Right.
so there's that kind of like aspect to it, and there's a big part of it kind of ends up like coming in like the last like 3 episodes, which is kind of fucking weird because there's a point in like episode 8 where like the whole episode 8 completely segues into like a random character that you'd seen before, like, but you had no idea, which is like one of the Native Americans, which is I think where it got a lot of the perspective that like people thought that this was like the Ghost Nation Central, which it really isn't until like that episode, which is like the whole episode's fucking dedicated to him. But then it becomes a lot of the whole point of it becomes that Native American character figures out that like he's conscious, and he figures out like what they're doing to the host in the park, where they're swapping out random people, and whole tribes are being changed, but they're still like, for him, he still remembers like all these past lives that he has with all these people, and like his like wife host or whatever, and so he still remembers his former life with her, and it's all about him trying to get back to this point where he basically goes on like a pilgrimage and like a heaven quest where he like leads all of these other hosts into like this heaven essentially, which is like in the I don't know what the fuck they call it, like the forge or whatever. It's like basically like the I don't know. I'm honestly not that good with the computer, so I don't know the computer term. It's like basically like the HDD maybe of like the whole entire like Westworld Park, and
Like a
they
server room or some shit.
kind of um, kind of like
Like
that,
data
but they're
room or some
they
shit.
as yeah, and they basically end up creating like this um, pocket world almost, like in the code where like all of these hosts consciousness, their like data can be like transferred into this separate world where they don't have to worry about like being hosts and like getting killed and like worrying about like dealing with humans and whatnot. They just live in this like basically cyber heaven forever, and so he like leads. So it's all about him like the leading other robots on this path, and like this pilgrimage and whatnot becomes like kind of a crux of the end of the season. But yeah,
Right.
so I mean, there's interesting things in it. I don't think it just recycles the same questions. I think a lot of this season has to deal with like choices, and specifically like especially with like Teddy and like with the Native American character and like a couple of other characters, because Maeve's a big part of it too. Like I told you, the Shogun World thing. And so it's also about like love, and like what does love mean to like these creatures that like have just
Mm-hmm.
gained consciousness, and like how to what choices do you make like when you're in love and trying to protect love and that kind of thing. So
Right.
I don't know. I enjoyed it a lot. I really enjoyed a lot of the characters. That episode 8 was a kind of a twist, but once I got into it, I really enjoyed that character story a lot. And you realize that like he's known what's going on a lot longer than a lot of the other characters. He's like one of the oldest robots in the entire park. Um, Also, I didn't really talk about this, but they brought Anthony Hopkins back for like the last like 5 episodes, and he's like fucking amazing once he comes back. So yeah.
Cool.
So yeah, I did that, and then I didn't start episode season 3 because I started watching The Outsider, which is also on HBO.
Right. Right.
Um, I'm like 6 episodes into that. I just finished episode 6 yesterday, and I fucking like it. I like it a lot. I like all the characters. Fucking what's his name? Ben Mendelsohn is great in it. The girl who plays the main detective, what the fuck is her name? Like Cynthia Ervio, I think, is who plays the main. She's like the African American detective chick who has like. She's either psychic or she's just like quirky. I don't know, because they like kind of touch on the fact that she's psychic in episode 2, but that hasn't really come back into play since then. So that's kind of weird.
Oh, you mean she has The Shining?
They kind of hint that she might,
Yeah.
but then it's not. It hasn't been touched on again for like the rest of the season since like episode 2. So I don't know if that was just like a weird, like directing choice that they made for like that episode, and like no other director like wanted to touch on it again. But yeah, I'm enjoying it a lot. I like the story a lot of like dealing. I like stories a lot because I remember reading a story as a kid too that dealt with this concept, but the concept of like the doppelganger and like the murder mystery just surrounded on the supernatural aspect of like somebody who has like completely taken over somebody else's personality and like frames this person for a crime and like trying to clear this person's name while also trying to figure out what's really going on. But yeah, I'm having fun with that. Hoping to finish that by next week. So I'll let.
I watched the first 4 or 5 episodes, maybe 4, when it was coming out, and I was in it. I liked it a lot. I thought that looked really great. I thought the story was cool until I realized it was about monsters, and then I was like,
oh, it was like I think it's like episode 4 when they
like,
full on say that it's like it's like a devil.
It's a monster or something, and not that part is bad. I like monster shit. I love Hellboy. I love Supernatural. I love all that kind of. So I'm all about paranormal, supernatural stuff.
Yeah,
but I like the concept of it being just a straight up, like to me,
murder
like
mystery.
the first 2 episodes, 3 episodes where they didn't really have any of the monster shit, and they start hinting at like, okay, is there a doppelganger kind of thing? Once they showed the video footage, like, okay, it's a monster.
Yeah.
But I like just the pure crime part of it. That it felt like a real good, like True Detective kind of like gritty.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, I needed a show like this, and it's Stephen King, so I was expecting it to turn monster. And then when it did, I was like, okay. I mean, it's not bad. I just never finished it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's for sure. I mean, I like the aspect. I do like. I think one of the things I like the most about the aspect is specifically in episode 6, like the other characters to learn about the fact that like the main detective, I don't even remember what the fuck her name is. The African American detective basically lays it out that she thinks it's a fucking monster, and everybody's like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Like, what the fuck are you even thinking? And I'm like, I like that aspect because normally in King stories, when he introduced the supernatural aspect, all the characters are like, all right, yep, no, it's a supernatural thing.
Yeah.
So I like in this aspect, everybody's like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Like, It's not a fucking boogeyman. Like, what the fuck are you even thinking?
Yeah,
so I like that aspect. But I mean, it's obvious that everybody's going to turn and think it's fucking boogeyman at the end. So that's going to go away. But I like the aspect that at least to start off with, they're all like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, we're trying to solve a real murder here and you're fucking bringing in the boogeyman. Like, what the fuck is wrong?
Time.
Yeah. So I like that aspect to it a lot. I'm interested to see where else it goes. I like the aspect that I think one of the interesting things about the monster aspect to me is not even like the doppelganger shit, but I like the Igor type thing where he's like able to like basically create minions. I always like that kind of shit where like people go against their will and like are forced to do this like monster's bidding because they have no other choice. And then the guy who becomes his minion ends up getting his fucking ass beat by his mother, by projection of his mother, which is really funny. So yeah, I'm having fun with that show so far. We'll see where it ends, if I still like where it ends up. But I really did like those first 2 episodes a lot.
Oh yeah.
And I didn't even realize this when I was first watching that fucking Bateman directed those, and he's really fucking come to his own like as a director. Like those shows. Those first few episodes look fucking fantastic.
No, so. I remember when this came out like 4 or 5 months ago.
I think so. Yeah, I think it started in like December or January or something like that.
So I forget that he was in it. I didn't know he was in it when I was watching it.
Mhm.
So I watched it on HBO on the app.
I actually forgot too. I remembered that Ben Mendelsohn is in it, but it was like that first episode started, and then Jason Bateman started talking. I was like, "Fucking Jason Bateman's in this?"
Well, my reaction was not he's fucking in this. For that reason, my reaction was this: this dude is working a ton
He's working a fucking
between
lot because he's also
Ozark
doing the Ozark
and then
shit.
I was like,
Yeah,
dude, this dude is working a fuck ton. Like, I get that you can come do a limited series and just like bang it out real fast because it's going to be 12, 11, 10 episodes and you're done.
yeah,
Unless you do a new season or something, which maybe Ben Mendelsohn will come return, but maybe not Jason Bateman. But like
yeah.
between that, the movies every couple years, and then Ozark, I'm like, dude, you're doing so much shit.
It reminds me of there was somebody else who was doing that shit too, where they were like fucking working themselves like a
It's
fucking
fucking
dog.
Tom Hardy like 4 years ago.
Yeah, Tom Hardy was like in a bunch of shit.
He
Yeah,
was
where it was like he was
doing
in like all those movies, and he was in that FX series, and he was like, yeah, he was fucking all
well.
over
He
them.
was doing. He did all his movies, his usual movies. He
Yeah,
did the Taboo, whatever the show he
yeah,
did
the
at FX.
Taboo on
He
FX.
he was in um the show with fucking Cillian Murphy, the gangster show.
Oh, fucking Peaky Blinders.
He's in Peaky Blinders. I'm like, dude, Tom Hardy's working. Now
Yeah,
he's slowed down since then, but he
yeah,
was working for a fuck ton.
yeah. He was working that. Well, it reminds me of that was the other thing where it's like I think the character doing that or the person doing that right now is the guy who plays Bernard in Westworld because he's in Westworld. He
Yeah.
was in that Netflix movie. He's in
Mm-hmm.
the Batman coming up. He was
Yep.
also in what the fuck else was he? He was in something else too, and I was like, God damn, dude, this guy's like all over the place right fucking now. But that
Yeah,
started like
Jeffrey
once he was
Wright.
in
Yeah.
Westworld. But what the fuck else was he in? He was in some other shit too, where I was like, God damn, this guy's like all over the fucking place.
It's weird too because he's been acting for a long time.
Yeah, Jeffrey Wright.
Jeffrey Wright. He's been acting for a long time. He just didn't really get didn't really get the claim until Westworld, I guess.
I always forget that he was in fucking James Bond. I keep
Yeah,
forgetting that
he
he
plays
played the fucking
Felix.
CIA.
He plays
Yeah,
Felix. He play yeah.
yeah,
He's the Daniel Craig version of Daniel Craig Felix.
yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that was the two big things that I was watching. But watching some anime too. Um, My Hero ended season 4. Ended on a high note. Those last 3 episodes were fucking killer. They did their whole school festival arc, which was great. I loved all that stuff. And then the last 2 episodes focus on Endeavor, who becomes the number one hero, and he ends up having to fight Anomu and like cement his place as the new number one hero in this hero society. It's fantastic. I like his characterization. They're turning him into not just a fucking asshole, which is great. Because I hate that shit. Because that's one of the reasons I fucking hate Bakugo at first. I still kind of don't like him, but his whole character is just a fucking asshole for no fucking
No,
reason.
yeah, exactly.
And I hate that shit where people are just like fucking jackasses for no real reason, just cause. Um, but as the ratings go on, all those characters have gotten better. So that's been great. But the other big anime that I'm watching is Digimon Adventure, the reboot, remake,
Right.
re-entry, whatever the fuck we want to call it, jacking back into this digital world. The first 2 episodes are out, and this show's on a wild fucking ride. I don't know what the fuck. I don't even know like where the fuck they're gonna go. They went. Fucking Agumon already transferred or already evolved into a fucking champion in like episode 1. You got Matt like riding on Garurumon in like the beginning of episode 2. Already like fucking taking down like fucking like ultimate class like fucking digital monsters, and then at the end of the fucking episode 2, they fucking digivolve into Omnimon. Like where the fuck are you supposed to go from there?
Wait, what?
That's like the ultimate evolution of like you remember Omnimon, right?
No, yeah. Why?
I have no I have no idea why, but the like I don't know. I guess the digital monster that they're going against is like too fucking strong. But it was like at that point they like show Omnimon. I'm like that's like the ultimate
So
evolution of that.
so
It's like where the fuck do you go?
they skip their megas and go straight to that mega.
They skip ultimates and megas
So
because
what's
there's no War Greymon or fucking War Garurumon or any of that shit. There's none of that shit. They go straight to fucking on. I'm
so
like,
why
that's
would
like
you
a season worth of like characterization that you guys fucking skipped.
why would you skip like the whole idea that in the original series was like well at least not necessarily for Wiggerurumon or whatever, but
Yeah.
for like War Greymon, or not for War Greymon, but for what is it,
Or Metal Grade.
Metal Greymon, like was that he's
Yeah.
like it was hard to control that motherfucker.
Yeah. So I don't know what the fuck they're gonna do. They also already teased, which I mean, it's also a reboot, so it's like I think they're going with the mentality that people already know, or they're assuming that the older fans, I guess, already know. But they already teased fucking Angemon and fucking Angel Woman with Kyrie and TK already showing up with the fucking angel feathers falling down. They like catch the angel feathers, and you like, I think you see like brief glimpses of like Angemon and Angel Woman. I'd have to watch the episode to get to be sure, but it's like I was like, you're already fucking teasing like their fucking shit that like doesn't come in until like the end of the fucking series.
Also, you're pronouncing that wrong. I think.
Angemon? I thought it was
No, the
Angemon.
other one.
Angel Woman?
Because I here's how I
I
always
thought it was
pronounce.
Angel Woman.
I think I'm just not either. I might hear the emphasis right in the way you're saying it.
Angel Woman?
Angel Womon,
Womon?
right? Like when they digivolved and the American announcer is like, because it's always Mon, right? So it's like it can't
Yeah.
be woman. It's always like whoa, and then they have to emphasize the Mon part. It's like when they do
Okay.
the actual evolution, it's always like Angel, and I guess no, they always say in that angelic,
Yeah.
that pitch. So it was always like Angel Womon. It's
Mm-hmm.
like, okay, I gotcha. I
Womon.
get you. I remember I was telling one of our friends, I was like, hey, Angemon, he's cool, right? And then one of our buddies was like, yeah, I love him. I was like, there's a girl version. And he was like, who is it? I'm like, what's the name? I go, it's Angel Womon. And then he was like,
Angel Womon.
shut the fuck up, dude. I'm like dead serious, bro. That's exactly what they call it.
Angel Womon.
You know what's
I like
worse too?
Angemon a lot though.
I think
But
Angemon looks great. I think the worst part about Patamon and what's the fucking cat's name?
Gatomon.
Gatomon, yeah. The worst name or the worst evolution. I feel bad for Kyrie
Mm.
because her mega sucks.
What is? Yeah, it's like Ultimate Angel Womon or whatever. What the fuck is
Well,
it?
no, she has two forms. There's Seraphimon, and then there's the fucking like pink cat thing.
Gatomon Ultimate. Oh,
There's that stupid like
what the fuck is that?
pink dragon cat
It's
thing.
like a pink dragon. What the fuck? I don't remember that shit. What the fuck is
Yeah,
that?
because Seraphimon had no legs.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure, which made no sense to me. And then yeah, whatever that alt mega is called is the cat thing, the pink thing.
Ugh. The cat thing looks
Because
fucking.
I think Angemon and Angemon look so cool, and then they just like continue to
Magna
get worse.
Angemon looks like the fucking shit. I
Oh,
fucking
dude,
love
the fucking like the gold things around his body.
the gold things, and he's fucking got the wings that like fucking look like the fucking
He's
yeah.
rad.
He's got like sashes with his wings. It looks.
So
Oh,
I
it
don't
looks
think
fucking
they gave because technically
Seraphimon looks.
because isn't technically Angemon a ultimate?
I don't remember.
Is Gatomon not a champion?
That's the weird part. Yeah, I think it is because, but also, Gatomon is like the least champion Digimon of like all fucking time. Like it looks like a fucking rookie, but it's a fucking champion.
Because I feel like, yeah. I mean, I'm not 100%. It's been literally fucking
It's a
20 years since I've
Seraphimon
seen
is
the
a
first
mega,
season.
so probably.
It's been literally 20 years since I've seen the series.
I
The first
I
one.
haven't watched it since I was a kid.
But I can tell you about season 2 and 3 infinitely more. But one I didn't love that much.
Well, Seraphimon is the mega of Angemon. Hold on.
Because Magna
What is-
Angemon is the ultimate, and
What is
Angemon's the
Angemon,
champ.
man?
I
Right.
think Angemon is the ultimate, right?
Is it? Angemon is hold on. Angemon. Also, one of the biggest things while I'm trying to look this up is that they have a traditional anime opening for this, and it makes me sad because I just always want to pop open the old. Angemon is an ultimate.
My Digimon knowledge is on point.
Dude, you got it fucking stored in your brain, dude. But I keep wanting to just fucking pop open that old fucking Digimon theme and just hear the fucking Digimon.
Yeah.
I play that shit like every time I fucking watch it now because I can't not. Ophanimon actually. Seraphimon is Angemon's. So
Yeah.
Ophanimon is the female version. Okay.
Yeah.
But that's a mega.
Yeah.
Yeah, because Angel Woman is an ultimate.
Fucking
That's weird though. I wish that it'd gotten like a fucking
a
good shit, like
proper.
fucking Angelomon, some shit.
You know what's
I don't
even
know.
dumber is that
Hmm.
in Adventure 2, when they start doing biomerges, like
Oh, I forgot about that shit.
they don't biomerge those two. They
No, they're like the only
biomerge.
ones that don't do it.
No. Patamon biomerges. It's
Does
just
he?
not with Gatomon. He biomerges with fucking he becomes a teacup.
Dude, I gotta watch.
He
I gotta
becomes
watch episode
he but I
season
think
two. I don't remember any of this shit.
I'm pretty sure he
He becomes
biomerges.
a teacup.
I'm pretty sure he biomerges with Armadillomon.
Bio
No. He biomerges into the teacup. I'm pretty sure.
Bio Digivolve.
I can't remember who TK. I'm pretty sure it's with the boy, the little white shirt boy. I don't know. Cody. Cody, I think is the name.
Hmm.
Because the biomerge is it's Yoli and Kyrie biomerge together, and they become, I forget, Ken and Davis biomerge for Pahildramon.
Hmm.
Pahildramon. I can't. As a 27-year-old adult saying it, it's hard. I don't remember. As a kid, it made sense, but I think it's
Yeah.
Pahildramon. And then Cody and TK biomerge for Teacupmon, whatever the fuck his name is.
Maybe. I remember the worst letdown of my whole life was when TK came back for season 3, but he didn't. His armor digivolve was so lame. It was a fucking Pegasus, and I was like, this looks lame as fuck compared to like fucking Angemon. Just a horse with wings. Lame.
Was you see in season 3?
Yeah, when they do, that's the one where they got fucking the guy who looks like Ty but has like a fucking fur jacket, where they do the army digivolve, where they
Well,
have the
that's
eggs.
season 2. That's season 2.
That's season two.
Yeah,
I thought that was season
that's
three.
Adventure 2. Yeah, that's Davis.
Oh,
Yeah, yeah. We mean you mean like the armor digivolves.
yeah.
Yeah.
Army digivolves were lame.
Well, not all of them were. I
Well,
thought
TK's was.
gold armor digivolve for Vmon was cool. Have Magnamon. Magnamon was rad.
Yeah.
But
V-Mom's digivolve was fucking sick.
yeah, Vmon's was good. Vmon looked cool, but he was like an annoying ass character though.
Yeah. He was like he was a more annoying version of Agumon, which is also what I remembered from watching this in Japanese, was just that I have the same problem with Agumon's Japanese voice that I had with Goku's Japanese
Oh
voice, which
yeah,
is that I find it really
yeah,
fucking annoying.
yeah. No, the big thing
It's so
too is like
loud and unnecessary. It's unnecessarily high pitched
I've
that
n-
I fucking hate it.
I've never seen the show in I've only seen it in dubbed.
I think
So
I think I watched Digimon Try a little bit, and I remember hearing Agumon in Digimon Try, and I was like, voice is fucking annoying."
I'd never watched Try, and I always wanted to, but I didn't care enough.
I didn't finish
Because
it. I need to.
Adventure One and if whatever they call it, Adventure One and Two,
Yeah.
I like two a lot because two goes crazy, man. Because at the end
Yeah.
of two, they go to the real world
Oh yeah, they do.
and they have like Imperial Dramon, which is like the last form of, or not the last, but like the second to last form of Pahildramon, where they're like flying people around the world because the digital world's like invading the real world, you know,
Yeah.
and then that was literally the most evolutions ever. Was like Pahildramon, and
Yeah.
then you had Imperial Dramon, and then you had Imperial Dramon battle mode, and then Imperial Dramon like White Knight mode,
Yeah, that
White
was some good
Paladin mode
shit.
or some shit.
Oh,
Um,
fuck, dude, this was good shit.
but
I'm just
two,
remembering all the
Adventure
armor
Two is
shit.
really good. But Adventure Three, aka Tamers is the
Yeah.
best.
Tamers
Tamers is
was the
the
shit.
best. Tamers is
Tamers
the
also
best.
had some of the coolest Digimon because it had the cat one, which was sick, the shaman shit. I love that.
Renamon.
They had fucking Guilmon. Guilmon
Mm-hmm.
was like a better version of Agumon.
Mm-hmm.
And then you had fucking the bunny, which I love the fucking bunny.
I'm trying to remember what the. I'm trying.
Bunny was the one where it was like
No,
its second
I'm trying
one
to
was
remember
like
his
it
name.
basically became Barrett where it had like a machine
I'm
gun
trying to
arm,
remember
and then
his
it's
because
I don't remember his
the
name.
bunny was in the movie too. There's two of them. There's Lotmon and then there was the bunny. I'm trying to remember what his name was because the Gallicmon, I'm pretty sure is the second form or
Maybe
something something bunny gunmon. Um,
something.
because the final the bio not the bio merge. Excuse me. The no
Terrier.
excuse me. Hold on. Season two is I think it's season two is DNA Digivolve.
Yeah.
Three is bio merge. Um, it's Terriermon and then
Terriermon was shit. The shit.
Gargomon.
Gargamon was a champion, which is where he becomes Barrett with
Yeah,
the machine gun arm, and then Rapidmon was the shit because
is the
he
green
just
one.
became like a fucking mech at that point.
And then the bio merge is Mega Gargamon,
Yeah,
right?
it's fucking
Yo,
shit. Yes,
my hands are by my side, Zach.
Gargamon, man. Oh my god, this is
No,
good
but see,
shit.
Renamon,
But I
right?
told you that I still want to go back and I want to fucking watch Frontier because Frontier, I like Frontier a lot. I
When you
like
look
the
to the
Digimon.
past and
I
look to
liked
the
the
future,
future. We still do
the
the
digital
digital
world.
world. That was good
Ba-da-dum
shit,
bum
dude. I
bum
love the
bum.
spirit shit. I love the
Ba-dum-dum-dum-dum.
inhabiting the Digimon. That shit was so cool to me.
I thought the because it was a proper henshin. So for me, like
It was,
I
yes.
loved like watching like Takuya like do the fucking,
He does the fucking shit. They got the fucking shit and they got a.
and then it hits the
Oh,
when the Digivice hits the little DNA, the little
they do
digital
the
thing,
slowdown.
it
Oh,
and like the fucking sparks
oh,
come out,
the
and
shit,
then
dude.
because it was
They also had some of the coolest fucking Digi evolutions because they had the butterfly chick. They had the main
yeah,
guy who had his like he basically became War
it
Greymon.
was a Goonimon,
They
yeah.
had the fucking the beetle guy who became like a fucking
I
like
don't remember his name, yeah,
actual like he became like a fucking Beetleborg, which was
yeah,
the fucking sickest shit.
I don't remember his
And then
name.
you had the guy who basically became like
Kumamon,
War Garurumon,
yeah. There's
basically.
Lobomon, a Goonimon. I
Yeah,
don't know what the butterfly is called. Zephyrmon? I'm pretty sure it's
maybe.
Zephyrmon. The Thunder one I don't know, and then Kumamon is his Japanese name. I don't know if it's actually Kumamon in English. Um,
Agunimon. Let's see, Lobamon,
uh-huh.
Kazemon, which I
Ka-
think is that's the girl. Yeah, Kazemon.
Zephyrmon is her next level.
She becomes Zephyrmon after that.
Yeah,
And then Beetlemon. Beetlemon was a fucking shit, dude. I love Beetlemon.
it's
Although that
Kumamon,
his
right?
character fucking sucked, but his evolution was the shit. Cause he was like the fat, chubby guy with no
Yeah.
confidence. And I was like, God damn it, dude.
What's the bear called?
Kumamon.
Shit. Get me on fucking Jeopardy, dude.
And then Duskmon. Duskmon was the shit too.
Duskmon, dude.
I remember
Yeah.
Duskmon. Duskmon
Fucking
was
Lobomon's brother right there.
yeah.
He had
Duskmon
the
was.
fucking lion in the middle that would suck up
He had that
darkness and
fucking
shit.
like creepy ass fight. He
Yeah.
had like a giant fucking eye in the middle of his
Yeah.
fucking chest. Oh,
The best part, if you go back and watch like a compilation on YouTube, which I guarantee there are, because when I was a kid and this show was not coming, was still in Japanese. I lived in Japan at the time. When I was a
mhm.
kid and this was coming out, my buddy and I would download the evolutions henshins off of like MediaFire, which was like if you don't MediaFire is all the shit now, but we would download the evolution sequences, and
Yeah.
they were all in Japanese.
Right.
But eventually, if you it happened in the English one too, which was great voice acting direction. Whoever did that was like they would be okay. Here's the first form, and they would eventually do their beast versions, which is like the more animal esque one. And if
Right.
you
Yeah.
go back and listen to the audio, the actors sound more animalistic when they say
Do
it.
they? Oh, that's
So
so fucking dope.
they'll henshin or whatever, and they'll go like a Goonimon, and then the next one they'll have like beast or war or whatever, and they like scream it.
I think he becomes War Greymon at that point. Once he evolves past a Goonimon,
He
I
has like
think.
guns. He's like little like gun
Yeah.
things on his arms. But Lobomon, dude, that fucking he had a cannon and lightsabers.
Lobomon was a shit.
He had a gun and lightsabers.
Ah, yeah. He becomes Burning Greymon. Yeah. He
Burning,
basically just
yeah.
becomes
He
Greymon at that
yells. He
point.
literally yells. He yells
Yeah.
Burning Greymon. It's pretty sweet.
Burning Greymon. Yeah, I
It's
remember
rad.
that shit. Oh, it's fucking shit, dude. I wanna. I can't. I have to start watching it
But
now.
the idea
God damn it! I
that
remember how much I love this fucking series.
the fact that you don't remember that Tamers has like the darkest shit in it.
I couldn't. I was so sad when you reminded me of fucking Leomon. I was like, God
Yeah.
damn it, dude! They fucking did Leomon dirty in that fucking series.
No, they didn't. It was a character. It wasn't his. It was character progression, not for him. It was character
Yeah.
progression for Impmon, because like so
Yeah.
Impmon the whole time is a little shit.
Yeah.
He's a little punk the entire time. He's talking shit all the time about everyone. I don't need a trainer. I don't need a trainer. I don't need a partner. I don't need a partner. Fuck y'all.
I don't need
And
no
then
fucking Digimon
and then
tamer.
he gets his ass kicked by the Digidevas. And then
Yeah.
he gets the power or whatever the fuck happens to go Beelzemon, or in Japanese Beelzebubmon.
Doesn't he just become Devidramon? I thought he
Uh,
just became Devidramon.
that was Beelzemon.
Oh. Huh.
And that's why he gets the wing, because he starts killing shit and gets the ability to like, starts absorbing the data. And eventually, he uses the Fist of the Lion or whatever the fuck that move's called. He uses the punch move that Leon has because he's fucking absorbed his life essence. It's fucking sweet, dude.
Dude, I don't remember anything from fucking Tamer. Do I have to go back and watch all fucking Digimon?
Tamers
Because I
is
can't
the
remember any of this fucking shit,
Tamers
dude.
the only
God
one,
damn it.
Tamers is the only one I would watch because dude, they set up some good shit in Tamers too. At the beginning of the show,
Yeah.
when you're talking about Rika, right, which is the girl who has
Mm.
Renamon, um, they say she's the best like card player in the world, but there was one guy better,
Yeah.
but he vanished. Well, then flash forward to the fucking when they're in the digital world, who the fuck shows up? But it's fucking Rio and Cyberdramon. Fucking
Yeah.
they fucking foreshadow from the beginning of the fucking show, you know. And you
Yeah.
factor that Henry's dad help create the digital world.
Yeah.
Fucking crazy, dude. And then
Dude, they have fucking. God damn it, Wizardmon. God, I fucking love Wizardmon. He's fucking shit. Cool looking fucking character.
becomes
Damn it.
essentially becomes like okay, it's gonna be this weird virus thing going to destroy our world, and it's like eat it
Yeah.
alive, and it's like a fucking apocalypse.
Yeah.
We have Jerry in a coma because her best friend gets killed, and she's like being sucked up by the D Reaper or whatever the fuck it's
Yeah.
called. It's the best. It's
It was
literally
good
like
shit.
it's the
It was
most
really
like
good shit.
dark kid show.
Yeah. It was
So,
good shit.
but besides
Yeah,
Digimon, what else have you been checking out?
I mean,
Anything else?
that was honestly just the biggest thing that I wanted to talk about, honestly, because Digimon, honestly was like one of the bigger things that came out. There was a couple other things, but none of them are like, I don't know, they haven't really gotten anywhere yet besides that. Oh, I guess there's one that I kind of wanted to bring up to you just because it was kind of interesting, it was called Glepnir. The whole premise of the show is that the guy can transform for some reason into a mascot dog suit that has a giant gun in it, and he has to fight other people for coins. It's dark as shit. People fucking die. I read a little bit of the manga, so I know like a little bit ahead of time of like what's going on and everything. But I think you would like that.
Cool.
That was the only other thing.
What's
Really,
it called? Glipmon?
it's called Glepnir. Gleipnir.
Okay.
Glep.
I'll check it out
But
after I watch Digimon.
yeah, it's cool shit. Yeah, but that's it. Basically, that's all I've been checking out.
Rad. I will go through some of mine. I had a couple things here. The first one, the big one, the new one, is I watched Onward.
Fuck, dude, I needed to watch that because that's on Disney
And
Plus.
it's on Disney Plus, and a lot of people I was seeing online, they're giving this movie kind of like mixed reviews. Oh, we're not sure. Maybe it's one of their weakest movies in a long time. And
That's not true.
I would say this to those people. This movie is not for you in the sense of, and I'm not saying like, oh, Wonder Woman's not for you, whatever.
Yeah,
Like this movie was made clearly with the intention of demographics are who are kids, obviously,
yeah,
heavy metal fans, and Dungeons and Dragons fans. That was
Fuck yeah.
literally the Venn diagram of who they were aiming this movie at. Because literally,
Yeah.
it's all fantasy,
yeah,
it's all magic and fucking D&D and heavy metal. So
Yeah.
the whole movie, Savannah, is looking at me like, knowing like I'm fucking hyped. Because the
Yeah.
main character is wearing a battle jacket. I literally have my patches for my battle jacket at my house.
yeah,
Like, so she's looking at, there's the main character, or one of the main characters, his kitchen table is currently his campaign, and no one can touch his campaign at all.
Fuck
So
yeah.
the whole time, like, my girlfriend's looking at me like laughing because she knows it hits every mark of like,
Mhm.
right, I love metal, I love fucking D&D, or I love fantasies in general, and then I love fucking I have the vest and the battle jacket. So it's like and it's also about a dad and a son, which is like the number one thing that I love the most about like when it comes
Yeah.
to like family stories, like dad and son. Maybe because I'm a dad, or I'm a son. Excuse me, I'm a dad. Maybe because
Yeah.
I'm a son, or maybe because my dad was a military guy, so I was like, what kind of shit, whatever.
Yeah.
But like that's like the one thing I like a lot. It's a fun movie. It's really
Yeah.
fun. It's about the two brothers. It's a really great story. It's sad. At the end, I cried like teared up a little bit
Damn.
at the end.
All right.
Not in the way that you expect, I don't think, but it's good. It's a really
Okay.
fun movie, well animated. I don't know why. I mean, besides the fact that it was cut short, theatrical run because of the virus
Yeah.
thing, but the fact that like the C virus, even if the C virus wasn't here, I don't think people would have went and seen it as much because it's not necessarily as commercially viable as like fucking Ratatouille, or like there's like no extra
For all
work.
those people who think that this is weak, I just want to remind people that this is the same fucking studio that made fucking Cars 1, 2, and 3. So You know, they got some weaker shit out there.
Well, and I get that it's a harder pill to swallow in the sense of, hey, let's take our kid to go watch a movie about cars who talk versus a movie about two elves or whatever the fuck they are
I guess.
traveling to to bring back their dead father for a day.
I don't know, but for me, like I fucking would have loved that shit, like the fucking unicorns and all that shit, and
Well,
like
it's
the fucking
probably because
elves and magic and shit.
you like D&D and you're also a boy. I
That's
mean,
true.
obviously
I'm
chicks
fucking
like
there.
D&D. I'm not saying that they don't, but I'm saying like this is more of a boy film than it is a girl film. That's just what it is.
Yeah.
So I can see that, but I loved it. Was a good movie. I liked it a lot. It's probably my favorite Pixar movie now.
Damn. All
Um,
right.
just because of just pure fucking like nostalgia shit in terms of like I remember picking out my fucking patches from my vest,
Yeah.
and shit like that. So I love that stuff. But I did that. The second thing I wanted to mention was Dark Side of the Ring, which is a Vice
Mm.
show that they did a couple years back. This season 2 is out now, currently airing. It's essentially a deep dive biography docu series about wrestling, pro wrestling,
Oh shit.
and like it's like dark shit, hence Dark Side of the Ring. So the first season it was like uh, Macho Man and Miss Elizabeth, kind of like their real life story and how there's drama
Oh yeah.
there, shit like that.
Mm.
The murder and death of Bruiser Brody, and then this season, the first two episodes, which are online on YouTube, which is how I watched them, how a lot of people
Oh
watch
wait,
them.
I think I saw this a little bit. Is this? They're talking about Benoit, aren't they?
Yes, they are.
Yeah.
Yeah, they are, and they
That's
knew
fucking
they were
dope.
smart because it's on the TV, it's on their TV channel, and they were smart. They go, listen, people are gonna want to watch this more than anything. So they put the
Yeah.
first two. They put the two episode out, which is this is the only episode's story that's 2 episodes long. Is the Benoit stuff, but
Hmm.
it's so well done because it has. There's no one that they miss in it. It's
Hmm.
narrated by Chris Jericho.
Fuck.
Chavo's in it. They talk
Damn.
about Eddie. Eddie's wife's in it.
Oh my god.
Chris's surviving son is in it.
Jesus.
Chris's aunt, who is the sister to his stepmom, the mom who gets killed, she's in it.
Hmm.
So they have anyone who could be in it who could have a problem is not in this. It's in this documentary.
Fuck.
So they hit on everything. They talk about the whole thing between Chris and Eddie meeting each other in the '90s, wrestling in WCW, going to WWE, and then like Eddie dying and the effects it had on Chris, and Chris was doing steroids. They had all of that stuff in it. Um,
Fuck.
it's really good. And then episode 3 is about a wrestler named New Jack, who was a hardcore guy from ECW, and he just was like a fucking psychopath wrestler.
Hmm.
Episode 4 is about a the WWF did this thing called like the Brawl for All in the '90s, which is
Hmm.
where they were trying to like again they were trying to make new shit up, but they actually had wrestlers fight each other like legit fight, and it was
Oh
fucking
Jesus.
stupid. But they have a Snuka episode coming out soon. I don't know how many more they're gonna do for this season, but it's a really good documentary series. Not every episode's a banger, um,
Right.
but the Chris Benoit stuff alone is worth watching. The Benoit stuff this season, and then last season the Macho, and then the Bruiser Brody stuff is really good because Bruiser Brody was a wrestler who's like a legend, and he gets
Hmm.
like murdered like at a show. So it's like really they're both those are really good episodes to watch. So I really like this series so far. Vice has a lot of good wrestling content because
Yeah.
they have this show, and they have
I've
another.
noticed that they have a lot of good. I mean, if you can get past like sometimes the angles that they take, they have a lot of good like nerd
Well,
content
they're
like on there. Shit.
their pro wrestling stuff is pretty. They have another wrestling show where they have a guy who's like in a band. I don't know what
Hmm.
band he's in. I think it's Fucked Up. He's in the band called Fucked Up, where he travels around and talks to wrestlers, and it can get kind of like SJW esque in certain things, but
Yeah.
it's never to the point where it's like terribly like overdone. Like
Hmm.
it's like I get what he's trying to say, so I kind of take it for what it is.
Yeah.
That's on YouTube as well. But it's yeah, it's a really good series. So I watched that, and then the next four things, are
Hmm.
things that I've seen 1,000 times. But I'll talk about briefly.
Okay.
Netflix and HBO both have this problem right now
Mm.
on their demand app,
Hmm.
where there are certain movies that once they get put on any location,
Hmm.
I have to watch them in
Mm.
entirety right away.
Okay.
It's just mandatory. There's certain movies, right? So like in January,
Okay.
Netflix had all three Matrix movies, and they took them away,
Right.
and then they took them away after however long they did the run. They took them off, right?
Hmm.
But they just put them back on for the virus thing.
They put The
So
Matrix back
they put
on
them back
again.
on Netflix. Yeah.
I got to.
So I watched all three of those again.
All right.
But the ones that were worse is this: HBO and Netflix did this. Netflix put on all Lethal Weapons, and then
Fuck.
HBO put three diehards on, the three ones that I care about.
Which
So
is
1, 2, 3.
obviously, yeah.
So I watched Die Hard 2, and with a Vengeance.
Honestly, I don't have that much of a connection to Die Hard 2, but I fucking love Die Hard 1 and I love fucking with a Vengeance.
Well, Die Hard 2 is definitely, it's just more Die Hard. It's
Yeah.
just more one, but in an
I really
airport.
like the twist in Die Hard with a
3,
Vengeance.
yeah.
That shit is
Well, Die
it's
Hard
not
3,
fight.
look, Die Hard 1 is, I watch it multiple times a year. I watch it more
I
than
would
Back to the
consider it up
Future.
there with like one of the perfect movies.
Oh, it's
I think
absolutely.
it's yeah.
Absolutely. But it's a movie that I watch more than Back to the Future. So,
It's easier to watch than all the Back to the
so like,
Futures.
it makes me think, like, how do I watch a movie more than Back to the Future, but Back to the Future is my favorite movie of all time.
Well,
So, but that's just what it is. Die Hard is so fun to watch, and it's just a
yeah.
fun action movie that you can just watch. So I literally watched it 3 times this 2019. I watched it 3 times, and then I now watched it twice this year so far. And then 2 and 3 I watch sporadically if I'm doing a full binge.
Right.
Um, but Lethal Weapon, this is the problem with Lethal Weapon. Here's the
There's a
problem
fuck
with
ton of there's a fuck ton of lethal weapons.
there's only 4 of them. So there's
Is
one
there?
left.
I thought there was
There's only
five.
four, and there's less than Die Hard. But here's the problem with Lethal Weapon. All 4 of them are great, but here's the
Mm-hmm.
problem. There's the major problem with Lethal Weapon is that
Which is
it's a buddy cop action movie series with Mel Gibson and Danny Glover. So you watch one and you just want to watch all of them because they're so good together.
mm,
And I watch Lethal Weapons more than I watch Die Hards. So I can
damn.
usually find them bundled together usually more often than I can find Die Hards. So
Right.
I think 2019 I literally binged them twice, all 4 of them, back to back, when like 2 days at
Damn.
work. Like I love Lethal Weapon so much, especially that first one. Oh my gosh, that first one is so fucking good. I mean, Mel Gibson in that is so emotional and so it makes you realize how good of an actor he really is, and because now he's forgotten. He's in side movies because after his his
Yeah.
thing from Hollywood, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
He is very clearly a great actor. Obviously, people know him from his Patriot and Braveheart,
Yeah.
obviously, but like him as fucking Riggs is so good. The scene in
Yeah.
the first movie where he's about to shoot himself in the face, it goes on so long, like him looking at the picture of his wife, the beer. He fucking unloads the gun, puts the bullet in the chamber, puts the gun to his head. He's like shaking and starts crying. He puts the gun in his mouth and starts crying, and then he holds it there for like 30 seconds, and he just fucking can't do it. And he grabs a picture of his wife and he starts crying against the glass. And he's like, "I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry. I'll see you soon, just not yet." And dude, fucking perfect. And they hard cuts to fucking Murtaugh's life, where he's like fucking a fucking 50-year-old man too old for this shit. And it's fucking funny. It's a funny,
Uh,
deep ass movie that I have to watch immediately. Like that Matrix, Die Hard, fucking I have to watch automatically when they get posted on any app.
right.
I literally think Lethal Weapon was moved from Amazon Prime to Netflix within okay, Prime lost it, so Netflix got it.
Mm-hmm.
I remember watching it on Netflix or on Prime, and then it goes to Netflix a week later, and I watch it again on Netflix.
Got to.
Well, it's just because I don't want to miss it. I
Yeah.
know, like I have it on Blu-ray, but I don't want to like miss it in case it goes away again.
Right.
So there's that, and then 3 more. I'll kind of just speed through.
Yeah,
Uh,
man. For sure.
Nice Guys, which is a fantastic movie.
Fucking love the Nice Guys. God damn it, dude.
Fantastic movie. I've
That
only
is like
seen it
Shane.
once.
That is like peak Shane Black.
It, I mean, in terms of directing, yes, the best he's done.
Yeah.
But in writing, it's probably the best he's done. But
Yeah.
Predator is also really great. The first Predator is really great. He wrote that.
Yeah.
He also wrote Lethal Weapon.
He did.
I'm pretty sure he wrote
Fuck.
Lethal Weapon. I'm
All
like
right.
I'm like
Yeah.
90% sure he wrote Lethal Weapon. Let me find out.
It's. I mean, believe you. You would know more than I would.
I'm like 90% sure he wrote Lethal Weapon.
It's on his IMDb.
Yeah, yeah, he wrote Lethal Weapon. So I wonder, maybe I'm just a big fan of Shane Black. Maybe I'm just a big fan of Shane Black. Well, he writes cop stuff really well. Like
He does, yeah.
he writes women terribly, especially like in Predator 1, where he's just like, where he's literally writing himself, right, saying lines that are so like obnoxious about women.
Yeah.
But like he writes cop stuff and buddy cop stuff so well. So
Hmm.
the dynamic between Murtaugh and Riggs is like the equivalent to like whatever the fuck Russell Crowe's character's name is. I don't know their names. It's like Holland March and then like Hales or something, or Haley or whatever. But this is the one movie I think from the last like couple years that I'm really depressed isn't getting a sequel or a TV show or anything. I know they were supposed to get a TV show with a girl version. And I know that Shane Black was saying that the movie didn't make enough money to really warrant a sequel in the studio's eyes. But this is a series I would love to see on like Amazon Prime or HBO or
I
something
would
like
love to
that.
watch a series of the Nice Guys.
Well,
Yeah.
it's a fun, hard boiled, pulpy buddy comedy where it's not only is it two fun, goofy guys, but then you have the fucking daughter. And
Yeah.
it's funny. It's a fun. And it's honestly, I think Ryan Gosling's best acting.
I think it's. I would say that. I would say it's up there with Crazy Stupid Love, where he's just not playing a character that has no emotion. He's
Yeah.
actually playing a character that has like depth and there's something to him, which is I enjoy infinitely more than his like. I mean, I love Blade Runner, but he's pretty emotionless in that
Well,
movie. Besides outside of certain scenes, but it's like
Blade Runner is his like that's like the staple Ryan Gosling.
yeah. Well, it's like that. It's like you fucking got Only God Forgives. You got Drive, where he's like he plays these characters that like
Say very
I mean, there's
little.
characterization to him, but like in his facial expression, he's like a blank fucking slate. But then you see stuff like Crazy Stupid Love, or you see stuff like Where the Night Skies, where you're like, yeah, no, he's actually like a legitimate actor. He has
Well,
chops. He has
I mean,
range.
in the Nice Guys, he is the comedy.
Yeah.
He is making the jokes. He's taking like all the falls and the gimmicks
Yeah.
and like
In the first like 30 minutes, he fucking gets his arm broken.
is his arm broken or his hand broken if you want to call it that, whatever.
Is it one of those two?
He's
Yeah.
the scene where he is at the bowling alley, and he's like just talking shit to his daughter's friends.
Yeah.
But the scene where at the bowling alley he's in the bathroom taking a dump, reading a magazine.
Mm-hmm.
Russell Crowe comes and gets him, and he has the gun, and he keeps trying to hit the door open. Russell Crowe can't get him because he's taking
Yeah.
shit. He hits like 7 times because it keeps bouncing back.
Yeah.
I'm watching it going, dude. This dude needs to be in more like.
He needs to be more comedy.
Well, this role needs to be extended because he's so good at this character.
Yeah.
So I like that movie a lot. And I'm really happy that it's on HBO, I believe.
Yeah.
It's on HBO or it's on Showtime, one of the two. 2 more things, real quick. Jurassic Park, I watched. It's Jurassic
Fantastic.
Park. We've talked about it 1,000 times. It's Jurassic Park.
Fantastic.
I always say this about Jurassic Park every time I watch it as an adult. I missed so much of that movie when I was a kid. Like, I liked it as a kid. I never loved Jurassic Park. We talked about this before. But
Yeah.
as an adult, I realized that I missed so many things. Like jokes or science parts of the story. Like, there's things I just don't get. Like, why as a kid I'm not going to understand the chaos theory. I'm not going to understand.
I feel like that's a lot of those movies where I watched as a kid, where it's like I go back and watch it now, and there's a lot of the writing and the jokes and whatnot that like just kind of like go over your head, which is like it's a thing that I've seen brought up before in movies where it's like even in kids movies, the writing is a lot more sophisticated than people think because parents are taking their kids to see these movies, so you have to make sure that the parents aren't bored out of their fucking minds either. And so there's there's always that there's not always, but in the good kids movies, there's always that extra layer of like this is for the adults in the room as well. So.
Absolutely, and obviously Jurassic Park, not necessarily a kids movie, but like the idea that just like the science behind stuff, I just didn't get as a kid.
Yeah,
I didn't understand why what's his name had the shaving cream can. I
never understood. The thing that I never understood, and you brought it up before, is I never understood Ian Malcolm's. I never understood that shit with the water and the chaos theory thing where he's like, I'm like, why the fuck is he like putting water on your hand? Like, I don't fucking Like, what the fuck is he doing? He's a
Also,
fucking
I
weird.
didn't understand what he was.
Yeah, I didn't understand that either. I thought he was another scientist, and then I was rewatching it. I was like, oh, he's like a mathematician. All right, whatever the
Yeah, like
fuck
a
that means for.
statistic guy or
I
some
also
shit.
like even as an adult, I'm like, okay, he's a mathematician. Why the fuck is like a mathematician at this fucking park? That makes no sense.
Right, and even now, I remember I even googled it. Like, why is he there? I was like, why is Malcolm at the park?
Yeah,
Um, but that and I didn't understand. Again, I didn't understand the Barbasol can. I didn't understand
yeah.
what he was trying to steal stuff. I didn't understand that he, um, when Samuel L. Jackson and him are trying to activate the park again. I didn't understand that the little like wagging the finger thing.
The not
I didn't understand that he like coded like I didn't get that as
Yeah,
a kid. So as an adult, I'm like, oh okay, I catch more things every time I watch it. But
yeah.
that and the last thing I watched, which is another thing,
Mm.
and this is kind of how I've been with everything that I've been watching the last, I guess the past year.
Okay,
I don't know what it is, but I'm watching old stuff. I'm not really watching things that I'm not watching new stuff.
okay.
I'm really focusing on stuff that I like already.
Hmm.
So I watched Terminator
Oh, okay,
because it's
yeah.
Terminator and I love Terminator and I watched it and it's still a movie that I look at as top 10 for me of
Yeah,
all time.
Terminator's fucking
It's such an
great.
amazing movie. And even with the goofy practical effects with like the face stuff when he's fixing his eye, but just the movie and the storytelling and the acting is so good. And then when you
Mhm.
couple that with T2, it's still the best example of a strong woman character
Yeah,
storyline. To me, it's the best of all
it's
time.
like
You can't.
that and Alien is like the top two.
Yeah, yeah, but I even love Terminator more
Oh
because
yeah, I
like
think I like Sarah Connor a lot more than I like Ripley
because
for sure.
Ripley's already a captain, so we
Yeah.
know she's tough. We know she can hang with the guys because she's a captain.
Hmm.
She runs a crew. We know she's badass. She just has to find
Yeah.
the desire to fight. Whereas like Sarah is literally a fucking server.
Yeah.
Like has nothing
Fucking
go.
waitress. She got nothing.
She's in college. She has nothing going, and then she's, hey, you have to not only do you have to quit everything you're doing and focus on this, you have to protect a life, or else the world ends. And then to see her the progression from her in the first movie to her where she's bumbling and she's crying and she's unsure what's happening and she's just trying to party and have a good time and Kyle's like, come with me if you want to live, all this kind of shit. To T2 where she is a fucking tactical expert,
Yeah.
like the scene of her in the asylum, the scene where she's shooting the shotguns. Like she is that character journey. It makes so much sense and it's so badass.
Hmm.
And nothing has come close to that in terms of making a strong female lead since then. I can't think of a single one. Um, I talk about this with Captain Marvel, where it's the exact opposite of what you want to do, where you just give her a power and now she's the best.
Yeah.
Um, Speaking real quick about Captain Marvel, which I didn't mean to. I didn't plan it, but I just want to say. Um,
Mm.
if you look at the High Republic Jedi's, the first Jedi that they show you, which is the girl, the blonde chick,
It's like Captain Marvel the Jedi.
is the first character who looks kind of like a generic blonde lady, but the description of the character is she's the best. She's the best Jedi. She can do no wrong. She's the most personable and adventurous and strong and leading. And you go, huh?
That description automatically made me like, I don't give a fuck about this series anymore.
Well, you makes you
It was
go,
like that. It was like all the descriptions. All the descriptions are like, except for the one
yeah.
chick that is like the African American Jedi with like the fucking shaved head. She's the only one that
Well,
has like an
what do you mean
interesting
African
personality.
American?
I don't know.
She's black. I mean,
She's
what are you talking about? There's no Africa in Star Wars.
that's she's at black.
She's black. I mean, there's no, or she's not black, or she's something else. I don't know. Like, there's no,
They don't say. They don't fucking
like,
say.
the idea that we're gonna be calling that.
Also, I don't understand why they're on their little dartboard. They say diversity. There's
Yeah,
only one alien Jedi. Where the fuck is all my aliens?
yeah.
That's diversity. That's the diversity you fucking need.
I love.
We're in a fucking galaxy-wide expanding thing. Why are they all fucking humans?
We're gonna have a bunch of diverse Jedi's, but the first one you're gonna see is gonna be a generic blonde lady who's the best.
It's
She's the
not even like
best.
it's not even like a TV series or a movie where you have to deal with makeup. You're writing it. Just write alien Jedi. It doesn't
Yeah.
make any fucking sense.
It really bums me out that people got so uppity when they cast Rosario Dawson as Ahsoka,
Yeah.
but yet then we know who's gonna be cast as that Jedi. We know. We know who's be cast
Better.
as that blonde Jedi.
Better not be. That's all I gotta
You
say.
think you think it's not going to be her?
It better not be her.
And what world do you think that's not? It's the same character as Captain Marvel. Remember when Captain Marvel was coming out? What did
Because she'd be even more insufferable as a fucking
but
Jedi.
what was remember what Marvel was doing when they put Captain Marvel out? What was the promotional material everywhere? She's the
It
best,
was,
the strongest Avenger. They
wasn't
kept
it like hero, but with like the her like emphasized or
yeah,
some
they
shit?
said that, but on all the materials at the fucking restaurants and the toys and all the commercials, they kept saying Captain Marvel, the strongest Avenger, the
The
best
original
Avenger, the
Avenger.
original Avenger. The description of this Jedi is literally like, she's the best Jedi. Who's Yoda? Fuck off. Fuck Yoda. This is the best Jedi, you know? So that's a tangent, but Terminator's good. Yeah, it's great.
Terminator's great.
Great movie. If I can find T2 online, I'll watch it.
I don't know where it is online. Yeah,
I can't find it legally.
fair enough.
We can go ahead and move into. Actually, I want to ask you a question, Zach.
Tell me. Tell me your question.
And this is going to tie into one of our news stories if we hit news because we're already at an hour and 20. But I want to ask you
Okay.
this question.
All right.
And I'll preface the question with this
All right.
tidbit so you can see where the question's coming from.
Tell me.
AMC Theaters is likely going to hit bankruptcy.
Yeah.
Whether during this C virus or after the post of it, at some point, people are saying, researchers, statistician people, accountants, whoever the fuck looks at this stuff,
Yeah.
are saying that AMC will likely file for bankruptcy at some point soon.
I mean, I don't see how they couldn't, because even when we get out of this shit, I mean, it's the same thing with sport. I mean, sports has more of a legway than movie theaters, but it's like people are not going to be amped. I mean, I won't give a fuck because I don't care. But like, most people are not going to be amped to like go into one room with a bunch of fucking people and watch a movie. Like, it's not something that's going to happen right away.
Well, see, I think there's two minds about this, but I'll get to that in a second. A couple weeks back, AMC furloughed 600 people at their main office.
Right.
That does not include the people who actually work the theaters. Those people were laid off, or however they wanted to say it, from what I understand. So you have one of the biggest retailers across the world, a country in terms of movies, just going kaputs. So my question is this:
Tell me.
after having the ability to stream video, TV,
Yeah.
movies, to have, and we're seeing it now currently with the, hey, we're gonna put Onward into the Disney Plus early. We're gonna put this stuff on rental early. We're gonna put the movies from theaters into the on apps early. Um, After having it be such an easy thing to do and such a priority that people look for, Scorsese, all this
Yeah.
kind of stuff. Where do you see the future of this? Do we get theaters back? Do we have theaters? And before you answer, I want to say this as well. This mirrors the comic book industry, right?
It does.
With Diamond Distributors no longer having not pushing out new comics,
Yeah.
DC and Marvel Image, all the big three, are forced to either wait and hold for digital or for print or publish digital, which ultimately destroys the comic book shop industry, which has already been dying for the last 20 years. So
Right.
if shops die, the direct market of actual traditional comics is gone, much like the direct market for a movie theater is gone. So you have to buy them on your Kindle, on your iPhone, on your iPad, on your Comixology app.
Yeah.
So you remove a whole ecosphere, or whatever the fuck you want to call it, of comic books. The movie theater is that for movie fans, right?
Right.
So if AMC goes away, you have one theater chain left or a couple theater chains left here. What is the future of if this is not saved? If AMC's not saved or theaters like that are not saved, what happens to the movie experience? Are we going to be at home renting from home now?
I think so, but I think it'll be for the worse. I mean, it's like I think of some of the things that have come out. It's like I even talked with like My Hero, but it's like I'm even thinking of like I think one of the things I was most jacked for this year was to see Christopher Nolan's new movie in fucking IMAX.
Right.
And now I don't even know if that's gonna fucking happen anymore. And it's like I definitely think it's like on the current trajectory that we're on, I think we're definitely headed for a world where, I mean, we're already seeing with Disney where they're already putting a bunch of their movies on stream. I mean, they've got, I don't know if you had it in there, but Artemis Fowl is already heading to Disney Plus.
Yeah,
They're like not even pushing back its release date. They're like, fuck it, we're just going to release it on Disney Plus.
yeah,
I think we're headed to this world. I think the best I think the best possible outcome for this world would obviously be we all go back to normal. But besides that, I think the only outcome that I could likely see for movie theaters is that you really only get the movies in the theaters that are big money, which is you get the summer blockbusters, you probably get the popcorn horror movies, uh, and I think that's really it that comes out in movie theaters. I think besides that, I think a lot of stuff will get out on streaming because I mean, even if you look at before the C virus, if you look at box office take-ins for most movies that aren't like popcorn blockbuster flicks, they're pretty fucking garbage. And most of the time, studios just lose money. And why would you do that when you can have your own app where you know you're already making money anyways? You just release it on there, and then you know your subscription fee or whatever goes into the profits for that movie and like the amount of people that are watching it or whatnot. But I also think that that might lead us down the road where even if you're watching a subscription, you get to the point where it's like, oh, if you pay like certain X amount, you can watch this before anybody else or blah 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 or that kind of bullshit. Um, I don't know.
because I fully believe that theaters are done. Not necessarily now, but I fully believe wholeheartedly that in
It's going to be really really hard for them to come back.
well, I believe 10 years from now, the movie experience that I had when I was a child is going to be like the Blockbuster is now, where it's a fucking memory of me going to a Blockbuster. That's good to me. That's going to be a movie theater because, well, we've already known. We've been talking about this for years on this podcast, for literally six
Yeah.
years on the podcast, that movie theaters are declining in general.
Yeah.
People are going less and less, except for the big Star Wars, the Marvel. Like even that's not just like no one's going to see. It's not Ant-Man. It's fucking it's going to be Captain America, Iron Man.
Yeah.
It's not even
Captain
every
America,
Marvel
it's
movie.
Iron Man, Thor,
It's the Avengers. It's shit like that.
That's it. Yeah.
The Transformers. Because you couple the fact that one, people are going to movie theaters less because it's expensive, which makes it go,
Yeah.
which makes them raise prices because they have to stay afloat.
Yeah.
You factor in that Hollywood takes in, well, put the middle ground movie doesn't exist anymore. The not
Yeah.
but the in between the blockbuster and in between the low budget indie film, that in between that we grew up with, that there were complete studios who only made those movies, and those studios don't exist anymore. Like when we were children. So you factor that in with the dying movie theater industry. Now you have the big companies who are only going to go, hey, you know what? Why would we pump so much money into like millions of dollars, if not equal to the budget of the movie, in marketing, when we can just go, hey, we're gonna cut costs on printing posters and
Yeah.
making reels for theaters, and it's gonna cost us $10 for a data server, and we're gonna
Yeah.
put it on our website or our app, or run it through Sling, and then they'll pay them a portion of it, and we get the majority of the money back because now it's a direct market now, or in a sense of like, hey, you want to watch Jurassic World 3? Well, I have Jurassic World 3. You pay me $20, and you can rent this movie. And now I get to keep 18.50 of it, and I give the $1 or whatever the fuck to whoever hosted the video.
Right.
So that's how we're gonna maintain afloat.
Yeah, I mean, I could see that definitely being the thing. I mean, I feel like it's going on with a lot of industries. I mean, you haven't been seeing a lot of industries crashing, but I think the big thing, especially in our current state of life, is a lot of it is cutting out the middleman. I mean, we both listen to podcasts. It's like half the fucking advertisers on podcasts are companies or services that basically cut out the middleman and like give the product directly to you. So I mean, just looking at the trends even before the C virus, I think it's the most likely future that we're headed for, where it's just like,
how
hey,
do
you want
feel
this
about
movie?
that?
Yeah.
How
What?
do you feel about that? Like, what does that make you feel? Like, I mean, I think about it and it makes me bummed out because I had such a good time as a child going to like Pokemon the movie,
Yeah.
Pokemon 2000,
I
shit
think
like
we're
that.
worse off for it. I think we're more soft forward as a whole. I mean, just thinking about like not even like the theater going experience, but just like the act of watching a movie in the movie theater. There's no home theater experience
Yeah.
can beat the
Replicated, like, yeah.
quality, the sound quality, the visual quality of just like a projection on the screen just looks so much better than anything you can do at home. It
And
just does.
I will say this too. I love comic books. I love
Yeah.
comic books, right? I think it's a great art form. I love it.
Yeah.
I'm a movie fan more than anything.
Yeah.
I will I will shoot the comic book industry in the face to save the movie industry, the movie theater
Yeah.
business. I would gladly walk to my LCS and go, "Sorry, Greg, fuck off."
Yeah.
If it can save AMC,
Yeah.
um, or theaters like the theater business in general,
Hmm.
because there's something about, and it happens in a comic book shop, but there's nothing that can compete with you're in line for something like Star Wars,
Hmm.
and everyone's outside the building, and then you move inside the building slowly, and you have to fight for your spot to go get your snacks and get back in line,
Yeah.
and it's a line around the building, and you happen to get there a little early, so you're inside. Half the other fucking lines outside wrapped around,
Yeah.
and you are being let, and you're just fucking on edge trying to find your
Hmm.
seat to make sure. And this is before you had fucking before you had fucking no what's it called, seats that were you can't pick your seat, so you're having to
Oh yeah.
find your seat. And like I'll tell you this, dude. The first time when I saw Lord of the Rings, I saw it in theaters the first time, right?
Yeah.
And I saw it with my dad, and we were on base in Japan. So Japanese theaters, all military people,
Hmm.
and it's a smaller theater, not a lot of screens. Um, but we were seeing Lord of the Rings, and the line was into the parking lot so long, right? And
Yeah.
I mean, it was, and again, not a big theater, so they were blasting these showings consistently.
Yeah.
And my dad and I were in line, and I have no idea what the fuck Lord of the Rings
Yeah.
is. My
Yeah.
dad just said, "Do you like swords?"
Yeah.
Well, we're going to see this movie anyway, so you better. I hope you better fucking like it.
You better learn to like swords.
And getting into that theater, which comparatively to ones we go see, civilian theaters are not are way bigger, but
Yeah.
shoulder to shoulder with people, and the butter of the popcorn
Mm.
and the fizz of the drink, and you have fucking you're seeing Rivendell on a massive screen
Yeah.
that cannot be replicated, on a home screen. No matter how great the 4K screen is or how good your surround sound is, it's
Hmm.
and Christopher Nolan wrote it in that fucking letter, but like the company of seeing something together, um, is something that you can't replicate. And when
Yeah.
it's the same thing about fucking Blockbuster, man. When Blockbuster was over, I mean, Blockbuster is my shit. I've mentioned before, I went to Blockbuster all the fucking time
Yeah.
because I didn't have parents. Because I had my we talked about this movie. We talked about fucking how your parents would not let you watch certain things, or my dad gave me RoboCop and said, "Go ahead, eat your chips and dip and watch RoboCop." Um, it was the same way I felt when that was over. Was that a big portion of not only our childhood and life and movie going life and cinephile life is just in the
Hmm.
trash can. And when
Yeah.
the theater, like Blockbuster, I can see, okay, Netflix ruined that, or no, obviously there's more factors than just Netflix, but it's a big factor.
Hmm.
Now Netflix and stuff like that is now to the point where it's affecting the traditional movie experience, and that makes you go, okay, will Christopher Nolan, will Quentin Tarantino ever succumb to digital? Like,
I
who
don't know.
knows? I mean, they don't have to work anymore. They're rich, but like, I can't imagine Christopher Nolan ever going, you know what? Okay, yeah, go put Tenet on Netflix.
I would say that, but I feel like I would have said the same thing about Martin Scorsese, but he was like, "Eh, fuck it."
I think Martin Scorsese hasn't been Martin Scorsese since The Departed.
That's true.
Like, I think he's been in the game so long that his prime he hasn't been like the guy since 1970 something.
Yeah.
Like, people go see his movies because he's Martin Scorsese, but like a Quentin Tarantino movie is is an experience. Like, you
Yeah.
have 9 movies. I mean, you're making a movie every 4 or 5 years. So like it's a, I mean again I'm hand to no God or whatever. I'm not a huge Quentin Tarantino fan, but
Right.
when those movies like when James Bond comes out, it's a fucking experience.
Yeah.
So imagine when No Time to Die comes out and it's like I can just text you, hey Zach, you want to see No Time to Die? Yeah, I want to see it. Come over my
Yeah.
house. Bring up 6 pack. You know, and we're now on my couch watching. That sucks.
It just loses something. I don't know what it is. It just does. It was like even when I was there, I just remember being at the point where it's like, when I was still in Charleston, I think, because didn't we? I feel like we went and like we watched like Infinity War together or some shit. Like us and the boys were like together, and like we
Yeah.
watched like some Marvel movie or maybe even Star Wars. Oh, we watched Rogue One. That was what we did. We watched Rogue One together, and it's just like there's something about that communal experience of like all going together and like meeting up at this place, like having the right theater time and like getting the popcorn and all that shit. And it's just like, I don't know. It's something about that extra step that you just lose when
Well,
you're just like at
going to
home.
dinner after it's literally the same way I felt about Black Friday now becoming Black Thursday.
Yeah.
There was a magic to standing in line. It sounds dumb, but there's a communal activity of, hey,
No.
we're gonna work Friday, get or be off Friday, and then just get together at like five or six, and we're gonna go get dinner somewhere, and then we're gonna just
Yeah.
stand in line until midnight, and just we're gonna fucking hump it. And that was like
Yeah.
an experience. The same way of like, hey, we're gonna go to Denny's, IHOP,
Mhm.
Waffle House,
Steak and shake.
Steak and Shake, and we're gonna go either before or after the movie, and we're
Yeah.
gonna talk about the movie, or going to the movie, and then getting in the car afterwards and talking about it in the car.
Yeah. You're gonna go to Walmart. We're gonna get some snacks. We're gonna go home, play some video games, and talk about how shit that movie was.
Right.
Talking to you, King Arthur. You fucking piece of shit.
Exactly. And then now we're gonna. The future is okay. Now we're gonna turn it off the power button and then just be like, hey, you know,
It's not the
that
same.
it's not.
It just loses something. I don't know what it does. I don't know what specifically it is, but there's just something about that that just doesn't feel the
And
same.
it's funny
I
because
don't know.
it's not like it affects the quality of the film. You know,
No.
like if I watch Jaws at home, it's still a good movie.
Yeah.
But imagine watching Jaws in a theater.
There's just something that's added to it.
Like I should ask my dad. You should ask your dad too, or and your
Hmm.
mom. But I think dad. I think safe to say this is more of a dad thing.
Yeah.
I'll preface this. This is a dad thing from when this came out. Okay,
Hmm.
it's not now.
Yeah.
Be like, Dad, tell me how mind blowing it would have been to see Star Wars on your TV, because it still would have been mind blowing.
Yeah.
But tell me, what do you think would be more mind blowing than how you actually saw it?
Yeah.
Like, there's no way that my dad would say, yeah, I mean, yeah, seeing it on TV is obviously crazy. It looks amazing, but
Yeah.
seeing it on a fucking movie screen,
Yeah.
I mean, like we take that for granted. You know, like we're used to watching like fucking shitty TV shows that look like fucking Flash, you know, or some shit like that.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know, man. That
Fucking Batman, Batgirl, Batwoman. What the fuck is her name? Fucking one
Batwoman,
of
man,
those.
Batwoman.
Batwoman. Fucking Stargirl, Supergirl, or all that fucking shit.
I don't know, dude. Well, okay, we're at an hour and a half, hour 40 minutes. Um, do you want to hit any of this news, or do you want to wrap up?
I can't even remember what I put in this news.
Because none of it's necessarily amazing. It's a lot of C
Yeah, I don't
virus
care about the
delays.
Disney shit. Disney shit was fine. PS5 was Uh, uh, no. The other thing that I felt was kind of interesting was just the Valorant beta, but I didn't play it, so I don't know.
Yeah, and neither did
Looks
I.
cool. I don't. It looks cool, but I didn't play Counter Strike. I played Overwatch, but it looks like a cross between those two. It's fine, I
Right.
guess. I don't know. I don't know if I'll play it because my laptop has always been shitty when it comes to playing PC only games. So I don't know.
Right. Well, you know what? Let's just wrap up that. No
That was the
biggie.
only other. That was the only thing on this list, really. Everything else is kind of like eh,
Well, you
or
know what?
stuff that we expected.
Maybe next week we'll talk about theme park.
Maybe. You know what? We're just gonna keep that as the top. That would just the thing in the back of everybody's minds that eventually we're just gonna talk about theme parks.
That was
And
like,
then the one time we don't mention it, bam, there it is.
there it is. Um, thanks, guys, for listening to the podcast, watching the vid. We'll
Ooh,
see you guys back next week with more license to view, where we're
yes.
going to talk about theme parks. and our favorite
Obviously,
theme park memories. And you know
of
what? It's
course.
been a month in the making. Um, but that's
Some would say it's been delayed.
yeah, exactly. And
Yes.
we're gonna talk about that next week on the podcast. Um, Zach, it's been we've been doing this podcast for 6 years
Fuck me, dude. That's a long ass
in
time. Can't
various
believe it.
forms. In
And
various
very,
forms.
it obviously the podcast has grown and changed as we have grown and changed as
Yeah,
people.
it was originally uh, a movie per episode,
That's true.
and then it became this, and then it
It
became,
became a topic,
and
and
then
then yeah,
no, it became this, and then it became a book club,
it's true.
and then it became a chat club,
I do remember the chat club. Those
and
was good times.
and then it became yeah. I
Do
was
you remember the times when we were in your car and we
oh
had the
yeah,
GoPro? Oh my
they're still
god.
on the YouTube channel.
I know. Those are good. I've gone back and watched them a couple times.
Yeah,
Those were good.
I was 100 pounds lighter.
That was back. Yeah, that was when you were like super into like going. Yeah, you were on
So
your
yeah, I
diet
was still
shit.
trying to join the military. I was like 100 pounds lighter.
Yeah, I remember that. Oh,
You can see me lose weight and then gain it back over the course of a video. And then we had the chat club, and then we were gone
yes.
for
A couple
2
years,
years,
something like that.
something
It's
like that.
basically like when I graduated college to like, I was about a year into my job at Myrtle Beach. I think is
Because
when we started back up again.
I think we've been officially back doing the pod on a consistent basis for the last 2 years.
Yeah, I think so. I would
Here,
say that. Yeah,
let me
it's
look.
been about 2 years that we've
The
been
first
consistently doing
Instagram
it.
post. So no, it's January 16th, 2019,
Okay, so a little over a year.
which was Ticket Stubs Redux episode 38,
Oh, okay,
and now we're on 78.
nice. Okay.
Even though we should have been at episode 100, I don't know, like 4 years ago or whatever the fuck. So we'll get there.
Yeah.
We'll get there. Oh, hey, by the way, my Cyberpunk book came in.
Oh, fuck
My game
yes.
book.
I still haven't played it so bad. I ended up figuring out that there's a couple of people at my station who are D&D heads, and so I've been like trying to badger them. But it's also like the problem with doing D&D in real life is just like scheduling shit and like trying to figure out like schedules that work, especially news.
Yeah.
But they're like, we're trying to now that group's trying to like get together to like do a game, and I was like, fuck yes, dude! Like I've been watching
How?
so many videos like this. There's this guy online who exclusively does videos of like how to create D&D characters based off of like fictional characters, and I'm like, fuck yes, dude! I have so many ideas of like
Well,
shit I want to do.
how big's the group?
I think from what I know right now, it'd be me and at least three other people. So I mean, a consistent with a DM and a consistent party of about four people.
That's
So I mean,
awesome.
it's
Yeah.
pretty average for a group.
Yeah, that's for sure great.
Yeah.
You
So
should just hop in that for sure.
I do. I want to. I saw one of the guys who was like one of the guys who I know is like one of the ringleaders of it. Finally, the other day, because he works night side and now I work mornings, so it's like eh. But I saw him. I was like, dude, man, I'm fucking jacked to like fucking start playing again. Like I've been waiting for like, when was the last time we did D&D? Like 2 or 3 years ago at this point.
Well,
It was like
we did there's a couple Pathfinder sessions.
we did Pathfinder.
Like
that's true.
before you moved to Myrtle Beach. So
So at least 2 years ago.
yeah, at least 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, almost it's probably 3 years, almost 3 years ago now.
Yeah.
And since then, no, yeah, we haven't really done anything.
No.
And I haven't looked at the Cyberpunk book yet. I mean, there's no really. I bought it because I just wanted to have it. You know.
Yeah.
Like I'm buying everything Cyberpunk. I have the art book, the deluxe art book on pre-order. I have all the figures except for the expensive ass ones.
I saw the Johnny Silverhand and I was like, fuck, dude, I need to get the Johnny Silverhand. That one looks dope.
They just they're on pre-order. They have the two figures, the female and male V from a company called Pure Arts, which are like $260, and they look great. They're 12 inches, but I just can't. I bought a couple of really expensive figures recently, and I'm moving actually next month. I'm moving to a house. In Latson.
You're moving to a house?
Yeah, I'm moving to a house.
Nice.
So I'm trying to save all the money I can because I'm moving, and then hopefully in a month from now, like May 12th maybe, I'll have my own toy room. That'll be my backdrop for the podcast. Versus that's why there's a lot of boxes everywhere because we're middle of like. We're gonna we put a box down. We go, you know what? I'm not gonna pick it up because we're moving. So fuck it.
Yeah.
Well, hey.
No point.
Thanks, guys, for listening. I'll see you guys next week. More License to View, where we talk about theme parks, our favorite theme parks, our favorite theme
Yes.
park rides, our favorite theme park experiences. It's going to happen next week for sure.
Obviously, guys. I mean, trust us. Look at these faces. You trust us.
Just like how we said we're going to review every Star Wars movie, we're going to do the same exact thing here.
We reviewed the six that mattered.
I think we reviewed two.
No, we did. We did it in 4 episodes because we did the original, the prequels,
Yeah.
and then we did the original trilogy as one episode.
Okay. There we
Because we
go.
were all like, yeah, no, they're like all fucking great compared to all the garbage that's out there now.
Yeah.
And then we didn't. We said we were gonna do episode 7 and 8 and Rogue One, and we didn't do any.
I bought on Blu-ray like a week ago. I bought
Oh,
Rise of Skywalker.
how much do you regret that decision?
I don't, only because
Ooh, okay.
actually no, I think I bought it on 4K. I bought it on 4K because I have Last Jedi on 4K.
Okay.
I don't regret because I have Last Jedi and I have Force Awakens, so I wanted to just have all of them. I'm not gonna watch it, but I bought it. Hey guys, next week we'll see we'll see you back.
See you guys.
Theme park memories next week.